Today's parliamentary session heavily focused on debates and accusations from both parties relating to the Himara issue. The operation against business informality has seen the inspection of more than 8,000 businesses, with 319 closures in the past month. The government seeks to reduce bureaucracies for private businesses willing to partner with the public sector on energy projects valued over €100 million. Good evening, it's 6 o'clock on Thursday the 2nd of November 2017. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, bringing you the day's national top stories translated into English 6 days a week. The Himara issue led to harsh debates and accusations between Prime Minister Edi Rama and the opposition in today's parliamentary session. The Prime Minister considered the issue of Himara to be a national matter and the letter to the Greek opposition sent to the European Commission as an impingement on national interests. In the parliamentary session, the Prime Minister asked the chairman of the Democratic Party, Lulzim Basha, what Himara meant to the opposition. The DP chairman Basha replied with another question, while saying that the factor hindering the integration process is the connection between the government and crime. The debate continued further, with the Prime Minister saying that Basha will be remembered in history as the vendor of the country's sovereignty. This comment was made in reference to the agreement on the maritime borders Basha made when he was Minister of Foreign Affairs. The former Prime Minister, Sali Berisha, attempted to reply to Prime Minister Rama regarding the accusation on the maritime border, but was interrupted by the chairman of the parliament, Gramos Rucci. The debate focused only on accusations from both parties. The parliamentary session also saw debates between the Prime Minister and the parliamentary representative of the minorities, Vangel Dule. Greece requests the Himara issue to be taken into consideration by Brussels in the process of the opening of negotiations for the integration of Albania into the European Union. The chairman of the Greek opposition has sent a letter to Commissioner Johannes Hahn declaring that he considers the incidents in Himara as a violation of the rights of the Greek minority. The chairman of the New Democracy, the biggest opposition party of Greece, Kyriakis Mitsotakis, considers the incidents that happened on Tuesday in Himara as the culmination of the efforts of the Albanian authorities to violate the rights of the Greek ethnic minority. According to Chairman Mitsotakis, these efforts exclude the Greek minority of Himara and other regions, despite it constituting a considerable percentage of the population in these areas. Mitsotakis remarks that, according to him, the attitude of the Albanian authorities has not been productive in this aspect. The chairman of the opposition added that this attitude raises other concerns, often being accompanied with a nationalist rhetoric from the Albanian government. It negatively impacts the bilateral agreements between Greece and Albania. The chairman of the Greek opposition concluded the letter with the hope that these serious concerns will be taken into consideration in the examination of the progress of Albania into the process of its membership in the European Union. The chairman of the OSCE ODIHR delegation in Albania, Peter Taylor, has appealed to the political parties in the country to change their political behaviour. Mr. Taylor says it is the only way for the reforms to be successful and to achieve membership in the European Union. According to Taylor, boycotting parliamentary commissions is not the solution to the problem, and it only prevents progress of reforms and integration of the country into the EU. Albania must not lose focus of the recommendations. You are obliged to follow them. We have noted a lack of trust in the system not only by voters, but by the political parties as well. I am not certain the boycott of Parliament is the solution. If you want to be successful with the reforms and integration into the EU, you must change your political behaviour, declared Chairman of the OSCE ODIHR, Peter Taylor. Meanwhile, the ambassador of the OSCE ODIHR, Bernd Borchardt, emphasised that the electoral reform must be comprehensive, adding that electoral crime must be punished. I commend the creation of the Commission for the Electoral Reform, and we cannot wait for it to start work. The reform must be thorough, and the Commission must tackle the issue of vote buying. The intervention must be serious in this aspect. Electoral crime must be considered as a penal act. The authorities must seriously think about electronic voting and counting and adaptation of international practices to achieve this objective, stated the ambassador of the OSCE ODIHR. Chairman of the Central Election Commission, Clement Zaguri, also appealed to the political parties, saying that it is time for political leadership to show determination and guarantee the realisation of the reform. Present at the conference elections of June 25, 2017 was also the representative of the Commission of Venezia, Pierre Garrone, who said that the success of the reform depends on the approval of legislation by wide consensus and the political engagement to make sure the reform is realised. The declarations were made at the conference, the elections of June 25, attended by representatives of the Council of Europe, the Commission of Venezia and Albanian politicians. The Deputy Mayor of Tirana, Arban Mazniku, has confirmed that the creation of a taxation agent for the collection of property tax has been set in motion. The City Hall of Tirana has clarified how the tax on property will apply to residents compared to businesses. Starting from January 2018, the tax on property will not be the same for people who live in the centre of Tirana and people who live in the suburbs. The Deputy Mayor, Mazniku, said that the buildings which have not finished the construction process as per the licensing deadline will also pay the appropriate property tax. According to changes in the fiscal packet starting from January 2018, a resident of Tirana who lives closer to the centre will pay a higher tax than the residents living in the suburbs. According to the proposal by the government, a house owner will pay a tax of 0.05% of the house value. On the other hand, the businesses are obligated to pay 0.15% of the property value. The Deputy Mayor of Tirana said that until now the tax on property for residents was issued with their water receipt, while for businesses it was issued by the Directorate of Taxation. The government is looking into the possibility of creating an agent for the collection of tax on properties. The Deputy Mayor also added that constructions, which have been pending for years and have not finished yet, will submit to property taxation in the same way as other buildings. According to the City Hall, this decision will reduce the drag-out of construction processes, speeding it up by 2 years to improve on the current 5-year average that projects take to conclude. The Albanian government seeks to make it easier for private enterprises to partner with the governments on projects for the energy sector. This is as per a decision adopted at the last meeting, where it was predicted that the ease in bureaucracies will help to realise the adoption of projects worth over €100 million. The government initiative to pave the way for foreign investments with private companies aims at increasing Albania's international reputation in public to private business agreements. The government has approved a decision to foresee fixed and accelerated deadlines for the granting of concessions to P2P partnerships to assist in the case of realising projects valued over €100 million. Complex strategic projects in the energy sector are the main focus of this proposal. Based on current practices, many investors interested in investing in the power sector have withdrawn on the basis that legal framework in Albania has taken such a considerable amount of time, regularly exceeding a period of 2 years, to be realised. By excluding such projects in overwhelming requirements of bureaucracies, the government aims to target a larger number of foreign investments and speed up the realisation of these organisations' projects. At the same time, the government aims to create better business conditions to improve the country's economic situation. Since 1999, Albania has been a net importer of electricity, resulting in high financial costs and causing the Albanian power system to be a burden on the finances of the state budget. Within only a month of the operation against informality in the country, 319 businesses have been closed. The General Directorate of Taxation has found that these businesses are not registered in the taxation bodies, or they have not met the requirements of a business to issue taxation receipts on products sold on numerous occasions. The tax investigative groups have inspected 8,000 businesses in total in the whole country. During the checks by the tax investigators, 2,450 businesses have been fined due to being caught in violation of the law. Meanwhile, the status change of the businesses from small to big business has proven a serious problem in the country. Within this month, 1,000 businesses have changed their status. Most businesses which do not declare their real annual revenue operate in the cities of Tirana, Durrës and Vlorë. Besides the issuance of fines and closure of businesses, the General Directorate of Taxation has placed an important focus on the education of tax obligations by regularly informing businesses of their requirements. The action against informality began on October 2nd and mainly focused on the inspection of big businesses, but small businesses were not excluded entirely. That's all for our English edition this evening. My name is Alexandra. Please join me again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. On behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.